Hey, this is Polar Bee. I thought I would have a topic of discussion today. And my topic for discussion is coping skills. The big C, coping skills. Okay, when I'm talking about coping skills, I'm referring to skills or habits that you use in order to deal with uncomfortable feelings such as grief, anger, sadness, depression, fear, loneliness, and etc. Too many times we're never taught how to deal with our feelings and emotions that we used, and we used whatever worked for us. And too often those coping skills were unhealthy ones. And that's kind of what healing is about. It's about learning new, healthier coping skills because a lot of times the coping skills that we use are very unhealthy. Some examples of unhealthy coping skills would be alcohol, would be using alcohol, would be using drugs, using food, using excessive spending, putting yourself at risk or danger in situations such as like road rage and stuff like that, and behaviors that are self-inflicted, self-harm, cutting, burning, those types of things. And why do we use unhealthy coping skills? We use them actually to deal with uncomfortable feelings and emotions. I know for me personally, I've used probably a variety of all of those things, actually, if I'm going to be completely honest about that, and I am. The more that you use these unhealthy coping skills, you get in a habit of doing it. You learn it at a very early age, or into young adulthood, and you find out that it works for you, so you keep using it. The unfortunate thing about that is that a lot of times these unhealthy coping skills can actually turn into addictions. You may abuse alcohol in order to not feel or to escape from your emotions. However, over time, you're either going to become an alcoholic, or possibly, not always, but possibly, you could do that, or become, if you're using drugs as coping skills, it can turn into a full-blown drug addiction. And that's not something that you want, because when you use those types of things, unhealthy coping skills turn into other things, and all that really does, it doesn't solve the problems. It may be a temporary fix to numb out or to not feel. However, it's going to cause a lot more problems in the long run, and problems, it could have a lot more serious complications as far as like health issues, legal issues, especially if you get caught driving, or you could even hurt somebody, if you're driving drunk, and using those kinds of coping skills in order to not feel, you might get behind the wheel of a car and actually hurt somebody or kill somebody. The same with drug addiction. There could be a lot of legal ramifications to that. Same with food. Using food to feel better about yourself and to stuff the feelings down. That was a big one for me. I used that. But that can turn into eating disorders, or obesity, which I'm familiar with. Why are unhealthy coping skills used? They're used because the feelings and the emotions feel overwhelming to you, and rather than to deal with them, sometimes the only way that we know how to deal with feelings or emotions that are uncomfortable, such as grief or sadness or depression, those types of things, we just want it to go away. We don't want to feel it because it feels bad. It's a discomfort to us. So that's why we start using some of those unhealthy coping skills. So it's in an effort to get rid of the discomfort Why do we continue to use them? Well, to put it simply, because it's worked for you in the past. You know, if something works, why quit using it? You know, unfortunately, when it starts snowballing and you start creating a lot of other problems, it's time to do something about it and to learn new, healthier coping skills. That's one of the things that I really loved about my healing journey, is because I used a lot of different things, and I'll go into some of this a little bit further. I know I'm going to run out of time because of the video, so this is probably going to be continued on another video as well. But what I was saying is that sometimes, in many cases, people or survivors do not realize that they actually have a choice. And that's something that's really important. Once you realize that you have a choice and you have other options besides what you've been always doing, you know, maybe the desire for change starts to form in your head, and you say, hey, you know what, this is not really working for me anymore, and I'm not really feeling it. I'm not liking it. It's causing a lot of other issues. It's causing problems in my relationships with other people. It's causing me health issues. You know, you have to desire to make a change, or until something becomes uncomfortable enough, it will push you forward to make a change. And that's where you can actually start learning to look at it actually honestly, to see, maybe I need to do something different. You know, I'm reading my notes a little bit, so please bear with me a little bit. I don't want to get off track. If you can prevent it, if you can prevent having a lot of other issues, such as, you know, health problems, and such as legal problems, debt problems, eating disorders, those types of things, when you want to do something different, you have to really want it, though. Because people will continue to use something as long as it's working for them, even if it is unhealthy. So when there used to be a saying that I used to know, and it was, when the fear of change, no, when the pain of change becomes greater than the fear of change, you will do something about it to change. It's something like that. I'll have to look up the quote, because it was a really good quote, and it really was impactful for me. I am probably going to have to continue, because I know that this is going to run out of time. Actually, I could just edit and cut it in half, couldn't I? That's probably what I'll do. Okay, I'll continue talking then. Some of you who are going through, you know, healing and recovery from abuse issues, you may have been using these unhealthy coping skills. If you're anything like me, I have been using these coping skills for a very long time. So it was deeply ingrained into my brain that I use this to numb out. I'll give you some examples. Alcohol. I learned at a very, very early age that a lot of the feelings that I was dealing with the sexual abuse, you know, when you're a kid, you don't know how to deal with those feelings. It's very difficult for a child to rationalize or to make sense of the insanity of